Hey everybody, welcome back to this EWR Extreme Warfare Revenge playthrough. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator. This is episode number 10, where we're booking a year's worth of shows for PWG. So, at the end of the last video, we got to our big monthly March event, which was the last rodeo, main evented by Orange Cassidy versus Ric Flair, because what else? How else can you main event your March Madness pay-per-view? I don't know. But anyway, that's what we did. So in this episode, we're going to be doing the next two episodes of our weekly television show Warfare, and possibly doing one or two other bits and bobs as we move along. So as you can see, we're at the end of March, so we need to move on to April. But before we do that, there's a couple of things I need to do and one thing that I want to do. So again, at the end of the last video, we hired Josh Briggs for our development territory, and he decided he didn't want to be here, so we need to replace him. And after doing much scouting, I've decided I'm going to hire a pre-AEW Will Hobbs. So, despite the fact he doesn't have a picture, which is important to me, despite the fact it's not really that important, it is to me. So, anyway, let's not worry too much about that. Let's just hire the guy, not as a jobber, not as a manager, but instead on a development deal. So, bring in Will Hobbs. We also need to hire another road agent, which, again, if you watched the last video, you'll know I spent far too long deciding who to hire. But I have finally decided, and I want to experience the Simon system, because we're going to hire Mike. Is it Bucci? I don't know. Bucci, I? No idea. I think it's Bucci, but whatever it is, he's now employed by PWG, so we should now have enough road agents. Let's just make sure Sophie's happy with that. Yes, she is. Not telling us to hire any more. Right, yeah, so that's as much as we need to do before we move on to... Oh, actually, there's one other thing, sorry. So, yeah, so I just want to demonstrate something which you may already know, but if you don't know, it's kind of useful to know. So we have a quick look at our roster. So you can see that we've got Asuka. We hired her as a non-wrestler, or I hired her as a non-wrestler. Now, if you want to make someone who's a non-wrestler into an active wrestler, you can actually do it. But you can't do it when you hire them. So let me just use this guy as a demonstration. So if I go to this gentleman, The Rock. So if I wanted to hire The Rock as a full-time wrestler, I'd click contract negotiations, I'd change that from non-wrestler to main event, I'd do that, and he'd tell me they didn't want to become a full-time wrestler. Now, irrespective of what I offer him, and who it is, it doesn't matter who it is or what you offer them, you get that message. So you have to do a little workaround. Now, why this works, I don't know, but we're going to use Ric Flair to demonstrate something. So if we go to Ric Flair, wherever he is, there he is. And we go to actually no, we need to. So first thing we need to do, we need to send him to development. Now this works for everybody, but you need a development territory. So you send him to development. If we go to contract, we go to offer release. He says that, which is good. It means you don't have to fire him. Now if you fire him, the same thing will happen. So it doesn't matter which one you do. Terminate contract or offer release. So he accepts the offer. Now if I go to rehire him, you can see there it says position main event. Now why that works, I don't know, but it works for everybody. So just a little trick for you there. Also now doing that, it means we've got a month's worth of work out of Ric Flair. We don't have to pay him for it. So as underhanded and a bit rubbish as that is, I am going to do it. Okay, that's everything for March. So let's move on to April. Speaking of April, I'm recording this on the 8th of April, 2024. So the day after WrestleMania 40. By the time this gets on YouTube, that show will probably be 2 or 3 weeks old. But I may talk about it just during this recording. I guess we'll see how it goes. Right, anyway, we're into April now, so we've got 56 emails. So let's see what's occurred. So, Amber Benson. Who the hell's Amber Benson? I feel like I should know who that is, but I don't. As one door closes, another opens, or I should have said that the way around. What else have we got? Making money, that's fine. Yeah, people want more money. Monster Tarver, that's Michael Tarver, isn't it? I think. Brody Ray Chase, I think that's one half of the Hot Shots, I believe. I don't know Oliver John is. Crimson, not the TNA one. Ric Flair's become a road agent. Oh, there we go. Instead of the Simon system, we could have brought him back as a road agent. That's a shame. Okay, there are quite a few hirings. One thing that did happen there that I could have done without happening. I wasn't expecting some of this stuff, I have to say. Okay, so quite a lot happened there. Right. World Japan have announced it. Now, I did check the World Japan roster. Let me just go back to that one. Yeah, World Japan have announced their touring schedule. I did check the World Japan roster, but there wasn't anybody. There wasn't anybody on it that I think we need to worry about. Let's just see who they've. Let's just see who they've actually taken on though, onto their touring schedule. So Zack Sabre Jr. So he's gone from New Japan to World Japan. Matt Morgan. Gunther, Walter, I'm going to call him. James Storm. Okay, fair enough. Nick Gage, can't see that one. Nick Gage versus Zack Sabre Jr. That's. Should we call that a clash of styles? I don't know. Okay, now there was one thing that happened there that I could have really done without. Let's just quickly go back through that. So we don't need to worry about any of that. Don't know who Amber Benson is. Let's just have a quick look at that one, because it is slightly worrying when other promotions, new promotions, are, because you wonder how big they're going to be. Right, she's only small, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. She can't see hiring people we potentially would be interested in. Then again, you never know. Right, so the Warlords becoming on wrestler. Now, despite the demonstration that I did at the start of this video, I'm not going to do that again, because if I release him, it's going to mean that the tag titles are going to become vacant, which I don't really want to happen. So that's slightly annoying, actually. I could have done without that happening. But anyway, we'll have to just work around that. We'll have to get them off them somehow. I don't really like champions being non-wrestlers, especially one half of a tag team, because it kind of screws the other guy. But anyway, yeah, Ric Flair's become a road agent, so okay, I'll get rid of some of that stuff, maybe off camera. Right, okay. I just want to check Ric Flair though. I need to stop saying right, okay as well. Talent 73, Bookie. You know what? We could actually bring him back. It's great. Let's bring him back. Why not? You want to stay for 5 years, Rick? Let's see. There we go. 5-year deal for Ric Flair as a road agent. Why not? We should not hired old Simple Simon now, but old Magic Mike there. But it doesn't matter. You can't have too many road agents. So there we go, Ric Flair. In fact, I'm tempted to put him in charge of the development territory. Speaking of the development territory, we opened that in the last episode. Now, obviously, Championship Wrestling is a dreadful name, but I just couldn't think of anything. So I've come up with what hopefully is a better name. So let's just put that in now. And I'm going to call it Imperial Wrestling Council. That was the name I came up with. Now, for those of you that don't know this, PWG is based in Southern California. And there's a region or area, I don't know what you call it, part of Southern California called Imperial. So that's where that came from. And then obviously the initials there are IWC, which I think you can work out for yourself. But in my tiny brain, that was clever. It was clever for me, anyway. Right. Okay then. So let's carry on. So our next show is on Thursday. So we've got a few days to go. How long is this contract got? 3 weeks. So we need to extend this contract. I may try and move to prime time because the roster is. I'm gonna have to start growing this roster soon if we're gonna get anywhere. If we're gonna start moving forward, but let's not worry too much about that. Right, we do need to go and hire somebody actually, which I will do now. Got any stables? Yes, we have. I think I did that off camera, so again, that's maybe a bit of a spoiler. Bit of a spoiler what's to come, not a prediction. Right, I need to hire this dude. Where is he? Rick Steiner, who's now a non-wrestler, which is annoying. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do the trick. That's what we're going to do. So we'll hire Rick Steiner. What the hell was that? I don't know. I think they just binged in the room. I don't know what the hell it was. Anyway, so we'll bring Rick Steiner in. And then we're going to send him to development. And then we're going to... Doesn't want to leave, that's a shame. Because you are leaving. If you send them to development and recall them, by the way, I should have said this, that doesn't work. That doesn't turn them into a wrestler. They'll just go... In fact, I'll demonstrate that now. No. So we call him for development. So he just goes back to being a non-wrestler. So that doesn't actually achieve anything. What does Sanjay Dutt say about him? Can he improve him? It could improve him, actually. Yeah. If they can't be improved by the development person, you get a message there saying to bring them out. So again, if you don't, I'm sure most people know that. But if you don't, so you know what? We're not going to leave him in though, because I actually do want to use him. Is he still in development yet? Right. So we need to fire him. We don't really want to do. I've got no choice. Because I want him to be a wrestler. We need to use him. This may seem like a strange hire, but there is a reason for this. We'll just give him a 6-month deal for now. He needs to be a heel. I don't know how much money he's going to want, but we are penny pinching here. Speaking of money, let's check how much money we actually made last month, because we managed to get away with not paying Ric Flair nearly $100,000. So I don't know if that's saved us any, if that's mattered or not. Well, not really. I think we could have paid him. We would have still made $500,000. So that's okay. Right, so Rick Steiner's now here. We need to change his gimmick to Grizzled Veteran. Right. So that's that. Let me just check the development territory. So we've got a 10. So there's our 10 Imperial Wrestling Council people, members of the roster. The glitch guy, Vinny Pacifico, not quite sure how he's here. I haven't signed these on written contracts, primarily because I don't think other people will hire them. I don't think they'll steal them, certainly. And obviously, it doesn't really matter. And if I do want to fire them, it means I don't have to pay them if I don't contracts. But anyway, let's not be too much about that. Right, so we've got a few days till our next show. I don't need to hire anybody else for now. Oh, actually, one thing I do need to do before, if I really do need to do this, so we need to set up the next big event. So I'm actually going to only do it for a few weeks' time. So we're only going to have 3 shows between now and the next big event, and the reason for that is because this card is going to be a little bit of we're kind of going to ignore the storylines for now and just make this card a little bit unique. So, April is All-Star Weekend. Now, I did a little bit of research, actually, and the last All-Star Weekend was in 2018, and it was All-Star Weekend 15. So, that would mean that 2019 would be All-Star Weekend 16 for keen students of numbers there, but there wasn't an All-Star Weekend 16, sorry. So, that was the last one. So, I was in two minds whether to call this 16... or call it what it would be 20 if there'd been one every year. But I'm going to stick with 16. So it's not All-Tar. It's All-Star Weekend. All-Tar Weekend where they'll throw oil at each other. And I'm actually going to make it a pay-per-view, which is a little bit of a gamble. I don't know how much money it costs to actually put on a pay-per-view, but we're going to make it a pay-per-view and hope that I can, by putting a card on that I've got in mind, it'll somehow work. But I guess we'll see. Now, in reality, the PWG All-Star Weekend, again, the little bit of research that I did, I think it actually went over 2 nights, which would make sense with it being called Weekend. We'll get the Weekend to play it like WWE have started doing. Right, so I want the third. I want to do 3 shows before this. So the 4th, 11th, 18th. So 20th of April. So Saturday the 20th of April. It's going to be All-Star Weekend. Speaking of WrestleMania, when is WrestleMania? Is it March or April on here? Let's have a quick look. View event schedule. It is April. At the minute it's down for April 21st, so it's going to be on WrestleMania weekend, which in a way I'd want it to be on. If this were real, I'd want it to be on WrestleMania weekend. That seems to be the vogue thing now, where there's 1,000,001 indie shows starting on like Wednesday or Thursday of WrestleMania week, and then they carry on all the way. So I mean, I think this year even Stardom held a show in the US. I think that's the first time that's happened. So Could be wrong on that one. I know they've wrestled in America, some of the roster, especially when Mercedes was there. Anyway, let's not talk about Sadler. Right, so we've got that set up. We don't need to write any of this. I don't think. I do need to delete some of these emails. Actually, who has been signed on written contracts? Let's just have a quick look. Anyone that we were interested in. So Acom, Ivar. They only signed people with four letters in their name. Big Kaz, Eddie Kingston, and then there's been a few open ones. I'm not too worried about the open ones. Yeah, more written contract. Staff members have gone. I'm interested in this Amber. Who is that person? I need to leave a comment because I don't know that. Anyway, we're 15 minutes in. I haven't done anything yet, so let's get on with it. I do want to do 2 shows in this video, but I really don't want this video. I really don't want this video to be to be too long. Right, they haven't hired anybody. Oh, I think it's because of the email settings. So RVD's gone to WWN, and Andrew Everett has gone to NJPW. Right, so let's just see who they've hired. I think I've got it set so smaller promotion. I don't get emails about smaller promotions. Toru Yano versus Mickey Knuckles. Well, that's an IWC match. If ever you heard of one. There's sort of quite a few Japanese wrestlers here. Bestius. He's only 30. What am I thinking of? It's Damon, isn't it? Is Damon his dad? Yeah, because there's no. Anyway, move on. Right, okay, so that should be it's fairly small roster, right? A couple of days to go, and then we'll actually do some booking. More hires. I will delete some of these emails eventually. In fact, I'll do it between recordings. I do the odd bits and bobs between recordings, but we'll do it then. Right, Masato Tanaka's gone to Major League Wrestling. That's fine. More TV ratings that I don't care about. But we'll get rid of these, I think. Don't need to worry too much about that. Right, 4th of April. 20th of April. Let's just check his WrestleMania. Sometimes they move. They do actually move the event. So let's just see if that's happened. Yeah, they moved it to April 28th, so they moved it to the weekend after. Which is slightly annoying. I wouldn't have minded it coinciding, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in the slightest. I don't know if it's a bad idea running a pay-per-view or not, but again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's just make sure I don't need to hire anybody else. We've got enough of that. Hire Rob Van Dam. Well, everybody else seems to be doing it, so who the hell's Belgian McLean? No idea. Muscles from Brussels, is it? I don't know. Rick Steiner needs to debut. Yes, we know. Right then. So let's kick things off. So we need to follow up from the pay-per-view. So the last event that I did. So Bob Backlund made his PWG debut. All these old timers that are coming in, you could call them. There is a reason for it, but I won't worry too much about that. So we're going to kick things off with a stable angle. Going to be a. Can you do a debut? Can you do a stable debut? Let's just have a look. I don't think you can. Debut because they've already debuted. So singles debut. Yeah. Stable. Let's have a look. Stable debut as client. See what happens there. Oh, there we go. Yeah. We'll do it that way. Yeah. So stable debut as client. I didn't know you could do that. I'm learning all the time. Yeah, stable debut as client. No, don't debut attack. I should have put the light on before I started recording because it's all of a sudden got really dark in here and I can't see anything. Not that anybody needed to know that, but there we go. Yeah, so the Glory Days debut as managed by Bob Backlund. So at the minute, yeah, so Bob Backlund obviously helped the Warlord and what's his face retain the Barbarian, the Powers of Pain retain the titles. So he's now managing them. We'll worry about that let me get into the... let's just finish the booking first, and I'll elaborate on what we're trying to do here. Right, so we're going from a tag team sort of talking to a tag team wrestling, and it's going to be 2 singles wrestlers thrown together. Mia Yim and Deanna Purrazzo are going to take on Hania and Shanna. So again, at the last event, Shanna retained her title against her whose name I can't say. However, this time she's going to be pinned or made to submit by Deanna Purrazzo. So no prizes for guessing who the next challenger is. No aftermath, and build up to a future match. Okay, right. Let's get into it. Yeah, so it was. It was WrestleMania yesterday, at least in my world. Obviously, not when you're watching this video. And being in England, it was on in the very small hours of the mornings. It was on. Started at midnight actually, and I stayed up for night 1. And I was going to stay up for night 2, but then just ended up not doing, basically. So watched that the day after. Actually the day off work booked. That was nice. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. The last two matches. The last 2 matches on both nights really. The last 2 matches. I enjoyed night 2 more than night 1. Certainly night 1. Yeah, I don't know. I thought the opener was. What was the opener? Oh yeah, Becky Lynch was. I thought that was pretty good, and then obviously there was the ladder match. But then the stuff in between, I don't know why, but the Jimmy versus Jay match, I didn't think it was very good. I didn't really care. I don't know why I didn't care, because it was one of obviously the ones that had been built up longer, but I just couldn't get into it for whatever reason. But yeah, overall it was certainly a swing and a hit. I think it's safe to say. I think that would be the consensus of opinion as well, but I'm sure some people out there didn't like it, which is perfectly fine if you didn't. Anyway, let's get on with it. So, proof that I can't multitask. Now, I actually had planned here. I was going to do a rematch between Powers of Pain and Crime Time, but now the Warlord's gone to a non-wrestler. I can't do that. That's done a bit of a span in the works. So what it will do, we'll book a one-on-one match, which is not going to quite. I'm gonna have to pivot somehow. I need to get the belts off the Powers of Pain now, because this isn't good. I think you can get away with the main event. I think you can get away with the world title being in a non-wrestler. Well, that's what you could argue. That's even worse, because people moaned about Lesnar and Roman Reigns latterly, never been there. But if they're an absolute megastar, you can almost get away with it. But I'm not sure the Warlord and the Barbarian are megastars. Anyway, so it's going to be the Barbarian versus JTG. Why not? Why not? Put him against Shad. Probably a better matchup. 2 big dudes just clubbering each other. Right, more follow-up from the last event. So we had a 6-man tag. I'm going to do another angle based on that. It's going to be 101 angle. And old Super Dragon's not going away, which is kind of going to be the theme a little bit. So Super Dragon challenges the new guy Triton. There he is. Right, okay. We'll keep this little. We'll actually do a match. Keep this little. If we move from early into prime time, I'll have to book 4 matches per show, which will be difficult. I don't know why, but I just don't like booking matches, which I know seems really, really bizarre. A really bizarre thing to say, but yeah, just something about it. I don't know what it is. I like to save matches. I think that's why. So I don't. That's why I don't like to book them. I like to sort of save them for the events. But obviously, you've got to actually have some matches on your weekly show. So FL's going to win this. Yeah, Flamita. Cleanly. And no purpose really, just to keep. We've got a little bit of a TV feud going with Flash Morgan and Mandrews against. Mexi Blood, I think they're called. I can never remember. Right, 2 segments left to go. So obviously we know what the main event is because we've booked it. So let's have another segment that's not a wrestling match. I need to keep Asuka on the show because she's our top drawer apparently. Well, she will be now Ric Flair's gone. So Katrina versus Katrina for Asuka, just basically saying how great she is. Targets none. Promotion, and finally the old main event. This is actually a momentous episode of this series, not because it's the 10th episode of Into Double Figures, but because it's the first episode I'm recording on my new laptop, so hopefully it's doing the job. I'm assuming it is, it seems to be. Just sitting here. Right, so it's now the Barbarian, because we can't pick the Warlord, which is annoying. So the Barbarian versus, it was Shad, wasn't it, that I picked? Barbarian versus Shad, no title on the line. And guess who's going to win? Yep, the Mega Push. What did I say? For the Mega Powers, but they're not the Mega Powers. The Mega Push for the Powers of Pain continues. So the Barbarian wins, and it's going to be a debut. No prizes for guessing who by. Rick Steiner. So not clean. Rick Steiner debuts by interference. So Rick Steiner is going to become the latest member of the Glory Days. So we'll JTG can come out and save him because he's a tag partner, so he would. I mean, in reality, he'd be there at ringside, but running for the save, it's going to be JTG, and that's to build to a future match. Right, so that's the follow-up for the Glory from the Glory Days, the last rodeo. Let's get on with it. Right, so basically the point of this stable is it's going to be a bit like and I know everyone loved this storyline and I was one of them, but it's a little bit like Dan Lambert and American Top Team in AEW, kind of, not quite, not the same as that because it was dreadful, but a bit basically Backla's going to be like Jim Cornette. He's just going to kind of come in and moan about how all this modern stuff sucks and it was better hence why how's what they call the Glory Days. Like, things were better back in the glory. The old era was the Glory Days and etc. Blah blah. So that's the point of this segment, just to introduce just to kind of put a little bit of meaning as to why why all of a sudden the Barbarian and the Warlord have turned up in 2024. So that's the point. The Glory Days are basically the anti-modern wrestling people. So hopefully that should generate some heat within the PWG community, which again will hopefully the right sort of heat. That was a good match, which is what I was expecting. That sucked. That was a bit disappointing actually because he's been getting over recently, Mr. Cassidy. Yeah, that's fine. It just does what it needs to do. Good. That was a much better match than I thought it was going to be. Flashmonger and Webster's stats are not that good, so nearly 80% match quality. That's pretty good. Katrina gained a point because she's awesome in every way. There we go, Rick Steiner's debut got a positive response, which is good. Barbarian getting another point, which is also good. Much better match than I thought it was going to be, 61%. Only 1.5 stars from old Scotty Keith. 64%, could have been worse. Certainly could have been better. A bit disappointed with the Orange Cassidy segment, but doesn't matter too much. Right, 1.64 rating. Shanna's complaining. That's good, and that rhymed. Delete that, don't need to worry about that. About a lot of this stuff actually. I do need to delete some of these emails. I mean, I don't need to know about Fusion's ratings or how many people bought Fastlane. Anyway, I'll do that off camera. So yeah, we're nearly half an hour in. Right, let's get to the next event, and then we'll save it. I think. Well, I say save it. We'll end the video. So we're gonna do. So the next video will be the go home show for All Star Weekend and the actual event itself. Did hire a couple more people actually, but we'll worry about that in a second. Right? Let's crack on. Public image is still around 25%. Ooh, Zachary Wentz is pulling. Okay. Right. Well, I was gonna get rid of the Rascals anyway. The Rascals are always useful to be jobbers essentially, but I do want to try and actually Yeah, I only kept them at the beginning because they were champions, so I do want to try and sort of mould this roster a bit more in who people actually want. So you know what? That's a good excuse to fire him. So can we rehire him if we wanted to? Oh, okay. So he hates his tag team partner. Right. Fair enough. Well, that's the end of that one then, isn't it? Right. Okay, that's made my mind up there then. I want to rehire him anyway. I was just curious. My heart always I was going to say my heart always sinks when I see these incidents because I'm just waiting for an injury. Because whenever you get an injury, it's always to a champion, or it's one that goes on forever. Although we did have an injury earlier in the series, and thankfully it was only a month. So and I was at the end of the month anyway, so it didn't really matter. Brilliant. Thanks, Rick. Well, I don't really want to fire him because if I fire him, I can't rehire him. That's annoying. Right, so we need to replace him now. That's really screwed everything up actually, because that's not good. That isn't good. Okay, we'll have to do it. Well, we lost Will Ospreay. This, I have to say, this is not going as well as I'd hoped. Let's just get to Thursday and then we'll deal with it. Yeah, we really do need a rethink now. The thing is, there's not a lot of older wrestlers that are they've still got decent stats. Let's get this contract extended before I forget. 6 months, yeah, we'll sign that. I did have a quick look round, and we are on the best network, I think, so we can get on, that we could realistically pull the ratings for. So I do think, in terms of like how risky we are in our production values, we're on the best network we could be on. So yes, because they've fallen to cult, CMLL, they released some people. Apologies to the mic's picking up the mouse clicking as well, by the way, which I'm guessing it probably is, so I do apologise for that, if that is the case. Also apologise for the dreadful background music. I can't use WCW Nitro anymore, which I was using earlier in the series. That's really screwed me over, actually, that Rick Steiner thing. Because now that debut's going to make no sense. Because it's basically needed to have happened with somebody else, and I need to go and find somebody. I was going to use Hardcore Holly, but he's retired now. Right, okay, so we'll do this show and then we'll end this video, which also rhymes, because it's been a little bit of a disaster. Because there was somebody else I planned to use as well, and they've been hired. So we really do need to have a rethink. Okay, let's go and hire some people. As I said, we do want to. This next card is going to be a little bit crazy, and I do want to grow this roster. So yeah, All-Star Weekend. Hopefully, that's how it's going to be. It's going to start unfolding. We've only got 2 shows, and then we've got the event. I've actually announced the match yet. I mean, hopefully it's kind of obvious where some are going, but anyway, let's stop rambling and actually start doing. Right, the first person we're going to hire is this dude, Eli Drake. Let's bring this guy in. One of the shining lights of the latter days of. Let's try him for 3 years. Why not? One of the shining lights for the latter days of. I say latter days of Impact, as though it's finished, but like when Impact. There was a bit of. Oh, it was actually to sign for that time. We'll knock it down to 2 then. There we go. Yeah, there was a bit of sort of the dark days of Impact where just after Hogan left and AJ Styles left, and I remember Eddie King and MVP. I don't think it was called MVP, but Eddie. Well, maybe actually, I don't know. Eddie King and MVP were kind of doing their thing. Was it the Beatdown? Were they the Beatdown clan? Anyway, around that time, the bromance and 1 or 2 other things. I thought Eli Drake was great. Was one of the highlights. In fact, I thought he stuck out like the proverbial sore thumb, but never quite got to reach the height, shall we say. Right, the next signing we're going to make may come as a bit of a surprise, but it's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi, the And we can't send him in a written contract, which doesn't matter. 57,000. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Ooh, that's annoying. Okay, well, we'll do it anyway. The best laid plans and all that. I mean, it shouldn't be too much of an increase, I wouldn't have thought. But given how much money we're making, yeah, I mean, given how much money we're making, we can afford it, so it's fine. The next sign-in, complete opposite of one extreme to the other, chalk and cheese, so you could say Hiroshi Tanahashi. I'll see you, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and raise you to Kevin Nash. And I had actually already planned to bring Kevin Nash in for something. I mean, he could join the Glory Days, but I don't. He's too over for that. I don't really want him to join the Glory Days. He's also a non-wrestler, but we know how to hire him as a full-time wrestler now. So if we ever want to do that, and I may actually do that actually, I may turn him into a wrestler actually, just in case, just for the hell of it. Why not? I think it's better to have people as wrestlers rather than non-wrestlers. Anyway, let's bring him in. Yep. So Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash is in. Right. Now, I was going to hire this guy, but he's now gone somewhere else. I was going to hire. I mean, Eddie Kingston in CMLL doesn't quite. He's not. When you think of the word luchador, Eddie Kingston's not really somebody that springs to mind. But such is life. He's gone now. Now, I was going to hire him to take part in a bit of an angle that I had in mind, but now we're going to have to find somebody else. I don't want them to be Japanese, and that's nothing against Japanese, but we've had quite a few. I'm looking for a challenger for Congo Kong, and I don't want them to be Japanese because it seems to be like every time we bring somebody in to challenge for every world title challenger seems to be from New Japan. So I just wanted something a bit different, and Eddie Kingston thought fit the bill. So let's see who else we can get. How over is Congo Kong? I just need somebody that will lose to Congo Kong without moaning about it. Or losing a ton of overness. So he's overness 58. Overness 58, brawl 70. So I need a brawler that's about, at the most, 70 over. But they still need to be pretty over to be believable. The reason I wanted to use Eddie Kingston is because he's been in PWG before, so I thought it made sense in terms of like this All-Star weekend to do that. I mean, this All-Star weekend will start taking shape soon as to what this card's going to be about. Like, we could use Apollo Crews because he was also he was Yuha Nation in PWG, I believe. Apollo, that's a different one. Right, Big Rick, no, sorry Zeke. It's Ezekiel Jackson. In case anybody don't think he was ever in PWG, but I may be wrong on that one. Yeah, I really like Brain Cage. I think I don't know why. I think it's because of his. I don't know if this is like a fancy one. I think it's because of his physique. I just think he just looks enormous. Crimson, no. Dash Wilder, no. D'Lo Brown, I'd like to, but no. Eric, well, Ivar's gone now, so do we bring Eric in? To be honest with you, that's not a bad idea. Will the Viking... I mean, surely the Viking Raiders have wrestled in PWG. I'd be amazed if they hadn't, but I'm not sure is he a believable world title challenger? I don't know. I need somebody believe. I thought Eddie Kingston might fit the bill perfectly because he ex-PWG and he'd be believable. I'm guessing he may have been PWG champion at some point. I have absolutely no idea. If I'm being honest. Killian Dane or Big Damo, as you could call him. No. God, no. Minoru we've already used. Necro Butcher, no. Nick Gage, I'd rather stick pins in my eyes. Which I'm sure he'd be quite happy to do that actually. So to do that to himself. PCO, that's a tempting one. Actually. But no. Pete Dunne, no. Reza, definitely not. Rhino, no. Rhino. Roosh. Definitely not. No, definitely not. I really like the Pope. Old Elijah Burke, but again, no. No. I was going to go with Ishii. I mean, look at Ishii's brawl, 94. I bet, in fact, to be honest, I bet Ishii versus Kongo Kong would be amazing. In terms of, like, it would get a really good rating, but I just don't want to use another Japanese person. I was trying to mix it up a little bit. But the more I think about it, the more I just think, just go with Ishii. Do we just go with Ishii? Just because his brawl's 94? I mean, I want a pay rise because his works for bigger promotions. I'm not too worried about that. I'm actually leaning towards Eric. But I just can't see that getting the... I feel like Ishii would get a massive reaction, though, because we're doing Tanahashi. We've hired Tanahashi, like it's almost like he's going to overshadow. Like it might be a bit like, why is Tanahashi not getting a title shot? But he's clearly a bigger star than Ishii. I tell you what, I'm going to go for Roosh. I think. I don't know if Roosh has ever worked for PWG, but I'm guessing he may have done. Not Pete, no, PC. Yeah, we'll go Roosh. Why not? Let's go Roosh. Let's go Roosh. Right, we need him as a face. Because Kongo Kong's a heel. Vola will him as a tweener, why not? Again, you can cheer him if you want, you can boo him if you want. That's fine. I just don't want heel versus heel, because that really hurt the Go Shiozaki Kongo Kong match, but obviously Go Shiozaki wasn't the plan. Come on, Roosh. Right. That's Roosh we've got in. So he's going to take that. So now I just need to replace Rick Steiner. Do we need another road agent? Oh, we hired Ric Flair, didn't we? So we don't need one. Ric Flair didn't go for the glory days when he right. So we need to replace Rick Steiner. 41 minutes in here. I need to get on with it. I need to replace him now because I was going to feature. This has all gone wrong. Minimum age, right? Let's do this. So minimum age. Let's go 45. We need a male. We need them to be not too over. I mean, we could hire Hulk Hogan, but I mean, that would quite work. So 44 to about 65, something like that. I don't know. Let's see what comes up with that. Too Cold Scorpio, no. Santino Marella, no. Definitely not. Definitely not. Don't know who that is. I need something from like old, like, you know, early 90s WWE or like early to mid 90s WWE or something. Again, something that represents a bygone era of just basically when it was just like big guys. I mean, I know Rick Steiner was like not really known for as a big guy, but you get the idea. Jim Duggan, you can't. That is really tempting actually, but we can't boo. We could boo Jim Duggan. Kevin Sullivan, that could be an interesting one. Lance Storm. Yeah, see, Lance Storm would have been a good one, but he's obviously with Impact. I mean, PCO was about in the early, but again, we can't have PCO. That just doesn't work. PCO doesn't work for me, brother. Sean Morley's too young. I think Kevin Sullivan could be the one. He'd have been a good mouthpiece actually. But we'll go Kevin Sullivan. Why not? To be fair, for 68, his stats are pretty good. Who was the other guy I said was Jim Duggan, wasn't it? Let's have a quick look. I can't. No, let's go Kevin Sullivan. He was again a non-wrestler. Right, that's fine. That's fine. Right, Kev. Don't do what the last guy I did this with did. Is that what if that's why he's in rehab? Because he's realised that to wrestle full time. Like, no, I can't do this. It's tipped him over the edge. Not that we should joke about rehab. It was only a grizzled veteran, so that's good. Right, doesn't want to leave because he knows what's good for him. But I know what's good for you too, Kev. Right. Heel. Written. 6 months. Come on. There we go. I think when you do these smaller promotions, you have to... it's okay for WWE and people like that that can have WrestleMania cards booked months in advance. Well, we don't have that luxury. We have to just work on the fly. Right, so let's book this show and then let's go, which rhymes. So we're 2 weeks out from All-Star Weekend, so we need to actually start booking. We need to actually start booking some stuff. Now, my original plan for this was going to be a handicap match, but we're going to have to come back to it. So let's book in what we know we're going to do. So my original plan was going to be Crime Time versus Rick Steiner and the Powers of Pain, but that match, for a variety of reasons, now can't happen, and that was going to lead to something. But we'll worry about that in a second. Actually, before we do, I do need to check a couple of bits and bobs. Who have we just hired? So we've hired Eli Drake. Right, so he needs to be a babyface. I'm going to change his gimmick to cool. I think he kind of is. Well, at least that's what he's trying to be anyway. Right, Tanahashi is already a babyface, I believe. Yep, that's fine. Kevin Nash. He needs to be a heel. I'm not going to change it to Grizzled Veteran. We'll just leave it as Badass. Right, Rouge. What's Rouge's gimmick? Rebel, that's fine. Kevin Sullivan. Grizzled Veteran, yeah, that's fine. But we'll not put him in the glory days just yet. That's where we're going. That's clearly where we're going. Right, back to the. So there were a few people actually on the follow-up show that we didn't feature, and now they're gonna come back into play. So we haven't released Go Shiozaki, and there's a good reason for that. So it's going to be Go Shiozaki versus Kushida. And Go Shiozaki is going to get a win. Sorry, Kushida. We all know that wrestling fans love when part-timers beat the regular guys. But no, Go Shiozaki doesn't win clearly. He wins by cheating. No aftermath. It's to build up to a future match, but not between those two. I don't know what that. When you pick that, does it mean between the two people in the match, or does it mean just in general? And the match it's building up to is this, and this is going to be the theme of the All-Star Weekend. So we're going to have an authority angle. So Excalibur is going to say that Go Shiozaki is going to take on Hiroshi Tanahashi. So basically, yeah. Well, let's just do the booking, then we'll again I'll put some meat on the bones as to what's going on here. Right, next up we've got an angle. Build up to that women's title match. What is it? I thought it was just called heat. What is it? What's that one? What's the one that just heated argument or something? Confrontation. Yeah, 2 weeks of heated confrontation. So it's Shanna, not Shad, Shanna and Deonna, which rhymes. Shanna and Deonna, they have a heated argument. So again, I'm not officially gone for an angle that says that this match is happening, but I think it's kind of, you don't need to do that. It's kind of obvious. Right, Mia Yim. So we're selling her. So she was beaten by Asuka at the last event. So we sold that injury by keeping her off a week. But now she's back. and she's going to target Asuka. So Asuka just kind of dismissed her when Katrina did that interview, but she's not. She's still got revenge on her mind. Okay, next up, we're going to have the first singles match of Triton's career in PWG. So it's going to be Triton versus Mark Haskins. Unfortunately, Mark Haskins is a little bit like the Rascals. If I need someone to beat, I just use Mark Haskins. It's a bit of a shame, really, because his stats are quite good, but it's always useful to have people like that on the card. Triton cleanly, and I'm not going to have Super Dragon run and attack him after, despite the fact that that's what we're building towards. After the last event, after the last show when he challenged him. So no aftermath. Yeah, that's just a build up to a future match. Well, we'll just put no actually for that one. Maybe Super Dragon could have run him, but it doesn't matter. So he didn't. But the main event segment now. So it's going to be Congo Kong, and again we'll put some meat on these bones in a second. One. Well, actually, no, it's going to be a debut angle. It's a debut angle. Yeah, dual microphones. So, Roosh interrupts Congo Kong. Okay, right, so now the Glory Days stuff. So what we're gonna do here. Basically, my original plan was to do the 3-on-2 handicap match, and then Eli Drake runs in and saves. And so they do the 3-on-2. Bob Backlund interferes and Eli Drake runs in. So let's do. I mean, we need to debut Kevin Sullivan. I should have put him in the stable. Let's okay, let's see what we can do. Right, so we'll debut singles debut. Apologies for this. I kind of plan what I'm going to do, and but then when things happen, I have to kind of veer off course. Right, save. Yeah, okay. Let's try if we can do it. So the Glory Days. Can I do it this way? Kevin Sullivan. Yeah, so Kevin Sullivan joins the Glory Days. So we'll just do it that way. So we'll just say, yeah, thought that should prove it right. So now that's going to lead to this match here. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do the 3-on-2, but we'll do it with Bob Backlund. Now, it's going to make not much sense. I wish the Barbarian could wrestle, because it would make so much more sense if he could, all this. But let's just, if this were real, then the Barbarian would wrestle, and we wouldn't have, the Warlord, sorry, then we wouldn't have this problem. Right, so it's going to be, so JTG and Shad Gaspard. So in reality, this would be the Barbarian, but the Warlord, so but I can't do that. So the Barbarian, Kevin Sullivan, and Bob Backlund. But obviously, as I said, this would really be Barbarian, Sullivan, and, well, it'd be Rick Steiner, ideally. The Barbarian, Rick Steiner, and Warlord. Okay. Then about All-Star Weekend, it should be All Change Weekend. So we're actually going to get a win here for the... for Crime Time. So JTG can pin Backlund. Okay. Shad can pin Backlund. Okay. JTG can pin the Barbarian. There we go. And it's That's an interference by Eli Drake. So what I would have done in reality would have been Backlund would have helped them win, and then Eli Drake could come in for the run-in. For some reason, you can't book aftermaths for handicap matches, so we don't have to do it that way. Anyway, but that's what would have happened in reality. I've just punched the microphone. That's what would have happened in reality, so Eli Drake would have actually made the save there. Right, let's get on with it, because this video is nearly an hour long, and it's already too long. That's encouraging. So again, yeah, so they just... he joins the glory days. Right, so Go Shiozaki cheats, beats Kushida, and then Excalibur stands up for me on the announce table and says, "Oh well, if you want to, if we'll put you to the test against." Basically, it's Go Shiozaki versus Go Ace. That's where we're going with that one. So yeah, this All-Star Weekend is basically going to be these two guys are cool, or these teams are cool, or these people are cool. They're going to wrestle each other. They're both good. You'll want to see them wrestle. Oh, what a good segment that was. That's encouraging. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Mia. That was a decent match. A bit of a clash of styles, but it worked. Good. People think Eli Drake's cool. Match wasn't great, which it was never going to be, but it doesn't matter. And Kongo Kong continues to get over, so that's good. Right, well, considering we're having to rewrite on the fly here, we're not doing too badly. No incidents, thankfully. So no one else is going to rehab. So Nick Gage is now a luchador, which I think is a great way to end this video, because we've got Eddie Kingston now, Nick Gage, who are going to be luchadors. But anyway, apologies for this video. I know it was a bit of a mess. Obviously, things happened I wasn't expecting. It's taken a bit longer than I wanted to get to this point, but we've got to this point for now. So we've got one more show left to do before our big event, and that will take place. Both of those things will take place in the next video. So if you did enjoy this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video should you choose to do that. While you're on YouTube, if you head over to the channel, the commentator, you'll find the rest of the videos in this playlist that we've done so far, apart from one video of which I can't upload, but I explain why in the last video, I think, episode 9. So yeah, we do have a last episode, a bit like the Tom McGee Bret Hart, but unlike that one, that won't be discovered anyway. Yeah, so if you want to check out the rest of the series, please do that. You can also check out some of the other games I've played through on the channel. I mainly play console games. This is the only PC game so far that I've done, although I'm planning to do another one that won't take anywhere near as long. But yeah, please don't check that out. So if you do like wrestling, I have done a playthrough of WWE Crush Hour. So please go and check that out, although it's not really a wrestling game, but you get the idea. But anyway, join me next time. We're going to be moving on. We're going to be getting through the rest of April, at least getting to our next big event, which is, of course, All-Star Weekend. Plenty more banger matches to be announced on the Go Home Show. We'll take it at that point. For now, from me, it is sayonara.